Good evening. Welcome. Thanks for coming out. Some of you actually traveling as far as Cottage Grove and Points East. I appreciate that very much. I am Peter Theron. I'm working to be your representative. In 1946, we just finished World War II. The Democrats wanted to continue the socialism of World War II, which would have actually prolonged the Great Depression. The Republicans campaigned on a very, very simple two-word question: had enough. And they won a landslide. They actually won more seats in that election than any other time in the decade, in the century, even more than 1994. So I ask you tonight, have you had enough? Yes. Have you had enough socialism? Have you had enough taxes? Have you had enough government regulation? Have you had enough spending? Yes. What we need is leadership. We need some folks to step up now and say what they're going to do when they go to D.C. I've exercised that leadership. I've shown it. Earlier on, this summer, I learned that the folks in Sun Prairie and Waterloo were being afflicted with federal dollars. They were being railroaded. The Madison to Milwaukee highway speed rail is going to cut through those towns like a knife through butter. I drew attention to that issue. I had the circus, which, by the way, the city of Madison, in its infinite wisdom, said, no, you can't have a traffic study to see what the commuter rail is going to do. That brought attention to the rail issue. That's federal dollars being wasted. Others have said, well, you should be running for Madison mayor. Well, wait a minute. This train goes from Madison to Sun Prairie to Waterloo to Watertown to Oconomowoc and on to Milwaukee. Mayor of what? It's not a mayoral issue. It's not a state issue. It's federal dollars. It's a federal issue. Right now, folks have said, well, what can we do? Because the federal money is being spent. The proposal I have, when I get to Congress, is to change that federal funding conditions. Right now, you kill a transportation project, you have to pay back the money that's been spent. My proposal, we kill the train, we'll forgive the money that's been spent. Making it a lot easier to get rid of unneeded, wasteful transportation projects. Entitlements. 2008, when I campaigned for this seat, so I'm battle-hardened, if you will, I realized that Social Security and Medicare were going to drive us off a fiscal cliff. In those 2 years, the problem's gotten $2 trillion worse. I'm a mathematician, which means I know what comes after a trillion. But I'm also a conservative, so I'm not going to tell the liberals. What do we do? Well, since that time, Paul Ryan has put forth his roadmap for America's future, which I've heartily endorsed. Every chance I get, I explain it to folks, because I understand what an unfunded liability is, and I understand why it's bad. And Paul's plan will fix that. Will let us actually reform Social Security and Medicare so we actually have those programs for the future. If we do nothing, they will drive us off a fiscal cliff. And frankly, we'll be looking up at Greece. Another aspect of reforming Medicare is Obamacare. I've got 2 words for that: repeal it. That's my pledge to you, and that's what I'll work for. Because in all of this, you can either win or you can succeed. Winning is transitory. Success lasts. You win a football game, but you succeed at life. You may win an election with some glib talk, easy slogans, but you can only succeed at governing as a conservative if you've actually campaigned for a mandate. That's why I've told you the leadership I've exercised here. That's why I've told you in terms of Obamacare, in terms of the entitlements, because that's the only way You can send any conservative from this district to Washington, D.C. and expect them to actually act as a conservative. Because if you don't say what you're going to do here, when you go to D.C., Washington, D.C. will tell you what you're going to do. We're already hearing in the news of Republicans being temporizing as far as repealing of Obamacare. We don't start negotiating yet. We don't negotiate during the campaign. We foursquare behind repeal. Then when we get there, we make the legislative reality work to us, saying this is our goal and we'll work towards it. Yes, we might have to wait till 2012 when we switch the White House, but we're always working towards that. We're on offense. Likewise, we're on offense with Paul Ryan's Roadmap for America's Future. So I thank you for your attention. I'm Peter Theron. I'm a conservative who lives behind liberal lines in Madison, and I drive a Honda Civic as camouflage. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Now we have 4 minutes for questions. If there's any other questions, please raise your hand. First question is, what do you think your strongest point is that would actually make people choose you over Tammy Baldwin?
I'm a conservative. I've campaigned as a conservative. Folks know what my positions are. Tammy Baldwin is a smile, a wave of a hand to the parade, and she has good staff. The staff do the work around the county and around the district. She gets credit for that staff work. Excuse me. But her legislative capabilities, her leadership in D.C., non-existent. Having indicated I want a mandate, when you nominate me, when you elect me, then I can go to D.C. and say to the folks who ask me to do something that's not like raise taxes or let Obamacare slide. I say, no, the 2nd District of Wisconsin, the most liberal district in Wisconsin, has said, this is what we want. We want to repeal Obamacare. We want to roll back spending. We want to cut taxes. And with that mandate behind me, I can talk to Republicans anywhere, any safe seat, say, listen, I've got a seat that's much more dangerous, much more in peril than yours, and my folks, my constituents, are behind me on this. You get with the program.
Second question, what are you doing to make inroads with university students?
Well, the whole Madison area, the whole downtown area will be affected by the train. So I've been talking about the commuter rail, which will in fact slice across the campus. Right now the students are walking, many of them walk from class south across the tracks. When the commuter rail comes, there's going to be 6-foot-high chain link fences there. They're going to be inconvenienced greatly. Also, with those trains going through at 30 miles per hour, they're going to be endangered. So bringing attention to the rail. Also, I've worked with the students for every 9/12 commemoration, 9/11 commemoration. In 2008, I was out there at 5 a.m. planting flags. In 2009, I was out there at 5 a.m. planting flags. This year, I gather that they're going to be doing something on the 10th. I look forward to working with them then.
Are there any other questions for Peter? Yes.
I would like to clarify the first question I didn't get it. I'm the guy that wrote the question, but what can you do? What can you, how can you appeal to the fence riders to vote for you over Tammy? You got hardcore Republicans, you got hardcore.
Well, actually, I think I've got an appeal to the folks on the east side of Madison, okay, the Isthmus, because the commuter train and the high-speed highway speed train goes through their backyards as well. So I've been on WORT. Okay, that's Madison radio, liberal as they come, but the train goes through their backyard. They get it. So that's something where I can speak their language. That here's a federal waste of money that's decreasing your property values.
Do you think you're winning over there?
I think that is something that at least opens the door.
got one more question, quick.
It's not a question, it's an observation. Draw a direct correlation between government employees, what they make, what their benefits are, and what all the rest of the public is. Someone needs to do that, because there's a lot more people that are voters that are not government employees. They need to understand that.
But we also have, of course, with this, the state employees getting affected by the furloughs, they're starting to see that their jobs are also at risk. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And,